Onegaishimasu.
Onegaishimasu.
So, we'll just start a little bit of loosening up and down. And just work a little bit with the arms as well. So, just kind of passing the movement through the shoulders, out through the elbows and the hands. Just playing a little bit with a forward move. Nice and loose. That's nice, nice. And then just coming into sideways. And just starting to bring in a little bit of kind of a rotation movement into it. Just let the body kind of swing a little bit towards the front and just play a little bit towards the back as well. Just feel this kind of sway of the body. Nice. Okay, and now just going to that kind of full rotation. Just for the moment, just really allow the whole body to kind of come out of the ground. Not the whole body, the whole back side to kind of roll out of the ground. A little bit like this discus thrower picture. You've got this kind of one stable side, and then this very loose, open side. And just let the arms kind of do what they're going to do. Maybe they come out much more to the top. And you can also play a little bit now, a little bit more dynamic coming out of the ground, kind of out, up and down. Just play a little bit with a sense of spiraling in and out of the ground. And keep all the joints nice and loose, especially now the knees. That's good. That's and then from here, just let the body kind of drop down. Just start with a kind of swing this way. So as if you're kind of allowing both hands to move together. Swing. And really allow the lower body to create the movement. And just let the upper body follow. Okay, and in this case, just start to allow the arms to kind of swing separately, so they're going to come out to the sides, and then they're going to cross across the body. That's it. And especially now focusing on where the weight of the body is placed in the feet. Just try and feel the difference between if I have the weight really placed in the front of the foot and in the toes. And if I kind of ground the weight into the back of the heel, just feel what difference it makes to my ability to really relax the body, you'll probably find if you're in the toes, the legs will start to want to kind of tense up and try and hold the body. Like move more towards the heel, the body will just want to kind of sit down and release towards the ground. And then from here, just allow the arms to kind of come to this front and back. So the fingers, they're just kind of scrape across the floor a little bit. And just more and more, try and create this link between the hips and the hands. And just one moment here, just release through the hands and just feel that you can kind of pass a kind of wave through the spine. And just allow the weight of the arms to kind of drag the upper body down. Just see if you can really kind of loosen through the spine. And then what I want you to do from here is just start to kind of circle the hands. And try and get it from the hips. So kind of casting the hands out. Casting it out. And just start to now bring the movement up. A little bit at a time. Nice and slow. As if you're kind of breathing up through the movement. So the out breath, the in breath will kind of raise you up. Nice and slow. And just start to draw the body up. Draw up. And then when you've got to vertical, just stay. Hold this position. Keep the center of the body dropping down. But really now keep a kind of vertical. Hello. Good. And just really allow the body, the arms to really roll across the front of the body. That's it. Good. And then what I want you to do is just reverse it and work now much more to the front and the back. So really allowing the shoulders to open out to the back and come forward. As if the biceps are kind of brushing across the ears. That's it. Oh, good. Okay, good. We've not done this in a while, so we're going to stretch up. Nice deep breath in. All the way through the spine, lengthen. And then bending from the knees, from the hips, breathing out, drawing the body towards the ground. Nice and slow. Reach the ground, just a few moments in the ground, and then feel you draw the body up through the center. Arms roll up close to the body, and then all the way up through the spine. Draw back up, open. Nice deep breath in, and then out again. And again, draw up. And the last one, nice and deep. Good. Okay, super. And then you're going to just stretch up to the sides. Stretch right up, really create a sense of length through the body. And just allow the body to kind of swing over to the side. And back to the center. Stretching right up. And over. And with this one, you probably find you kind of put the weight into the opposite leg. Just when you do this one, there's good also. Just see if you can also put the weight into the opposite, into the same leg as well. So create a center of length here and just press from the rear foot. Just see if it also, it's just a slightly different focus in the string. You'll probably feel a kind of bigger line through the body, just there. And then again, so you're going to kind of ground through this whole side of the body and then maintain it as you come over. You're basically letting the other part of the body really be kind of heavy, loose. And just come back into the center. And we just go to the hips, nice big circles. And the other direction. Okay, just for the knees. And both legs. And just stretching them back. And dropping forward. Back up one more time. Stretching back. And forward. Okay, just come to a little bit of a wider foot position. Just drop the hips in. So just allow the hips to kind of drop straight in. And if you need to, just use the hands on the ground, just as a kind of little bit of a support. Just feel the hips start to open out. And use now the elbows, just slight pressure out, away from the center. And at the same time, try and have the feeling that the tailbone and the hips is going to kind of sink, be pulled down into the ground. So you got this kind of pressure out and a kind of sinking down to the feet. That's it, great. And if you come from here, just keep one hand down in the ground and the opposite hand, just so that you can raise it up. Just as far as you can, kind of feel comfortable with it. And if you find it helps, just to kind of watch the hand. Opening the torso up, and then place it down. Place the hand down on the other side, and then just come to the other side. Open it up. Reach right up. And just come down. Just a few moments, just here, just rock the hips a little bit. And just coming back up. Get a little bit wider with the feet. And just start to kind of loosen the hips. Nice and gentle, just rocking side to side. You're kind of straightening and bending. Straighten one leg, then the other. And then just hold it one side. And to the other side. And then nice and easy, just using the hands to kind of counterbalance. Pull the hips back away from the feet. Just feel the stretch more and more, opening the hip. And then back to the center and just to the other side. Stretch it out. And again, just a little bit wider with the feet. And the hands onto the same line. Just allow the upper body to release into the ground. Okay. And if you can, see if you can get both hands now onto the feet. Release through the lower back. And just feel the head and the upper body be kind of pulled down to the ground, and the legs nice and stable. Bring the feet towards the center and just walk the hands out. Bring the hands towards the center. Bring the hands forward now. Just so you're almost in the fingertips. And again, just feel that the hips and the hands are going to be kind of pulling apart from each other. So it's about creating a length through the spine. And especially now use the breath to kind of expand through the rib cage and create more length. Similar to this position we did before, just allow one hand to be kind of just below the shoulder. So you've got to kind of structure into the shoulder. And then just reach the hand up towards the ceiling or the sky. No, you're all ceilings. Ceilings. So reach towards the ceiling and just look up. And then down, just replace the hand, change the hand. Roll, reach up and open. Just try and create length through the shoulders. And then one more time, the other side. Stretch up, reach up. And you can also play, in this case, if you find this quite easy, you can go into the fingertip on the hand on the floor. So I can reach just into the fingertip and really create a sense of length right through the hands. Extending out through the fingertips. And then again, just change the hand. And down. Good. And just nice and slowly start to bring the feet towards the hands. You're just going to be in a kind of forward fold position. Just take a few moments, just feel the back of the knees, the contact with the ground. And then as much as you need to reach the hands into the ground, start to bend the knees. And I just want you to feel that you can press the palms right into the ground. Just feel the contact with the ground, both hands, both feet. And then just start to straighten the knees if you've got them bent. Draw the hands up to the toes, and then start to initiate the pull up with the hips. All the way up, a bit nice and slow. Hands come to the shins, all the way up into the knees, and to the thighs. And then they're going to just kind of cross back onto the hips there, a little bit of length. So, good. Just shaking the body out. Especially now, just loosening the legs, the knees. Just shake the hands and the feet. And to the top like this. And changing sides. You do circles, and straight. And just roll them through the arms. And just finding the vertical, really trying to center the body. Keeping the contact with the ground. Just find a kind of pulse through the whole body. And just make it smaller and smaller until you kind of come to a stop. And that's it. So take a jaw today. I'm going to continue with the jaw. Very good. Okay. We'll just start nice and basic. Just come in straight into Zengo ski. Just to the front. Take this nice and slow. Spiral into the back. And finding the thrust. Just nice and easy. No speed, no power. Just really looking for the movement, especially this rotation move. Trying to spiral into the ground. Nice. Nice. Okay, good. And then just open it out now into Shiho. So you're gonna come 1 to the back, 2 big rotation to the side, 3 rotation back, 5. Let's come to that position. And in this case, when you finish at 5, just so we do both sides on the rotation, just start back in the right side and come again. 1, roll to the back, 2, big swing out, 3, and then roll to the back again. 4. So you're going to basically do the shihogiri on both sides as you do it. So however you like to do it, you can do it either sticking to the left a few times and then changing, or you can just roll into the alternating. Good. Nice. Okay, so just basically going to isolate the rotation movement because for me this is actually the important part of the movement. We tend to kind of prioritize the ski in the movement, which obviously is important, but in this case I just want to prioritize the rotation move. So just play a little bit. You've got 3. You've got this rotation, just straight back. You've got a rotation where you swing the body out this way, swing the body out this way. We basically do a kind of 3/4. And then you've got a rotation. We do it at the end of the form. So you get to this position. And then because I finish in a direction like this, I want to kind of roll the body all the way back through the movement this way. So you've basically got increasing angles of rotation. So they get more difficult the more you increase the rotation. So just basically play with 180 this way. And then you've got a kind of 3/4 turn. And then as much as you can, just feel that you can really swing the body out one way. Swing the body out one way. So basically just play with rotating the body. And the real kind of interesting part of this is whether I can really center and ground the movement as I find the rotation. Just play with increasing the angles. That's it. That's it. Nice.
Are you doing a 360 on the end?
Yeah, if you can, try a 360. I'm not very good at it, so I don't usually demonstrate it. So try it. See if you can make a 360 full kind of rotation. I'm
Are
usually
you
feel like
turning the
it's
same
70.
way as you did for the 3/4, but just adding on the quarter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just see if you can basically, I'll try it. So you basically start there, you basically roll around. Ooh. I'm about, not really 360, about 350, 340. No. No. Just see if you can play with it. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Adrian, that's it. Yeah. You're good. Actually, just try it. There's a video, I think I was talking to Adrian about it yesterday or something. There's a video of Saito does a full 360-degree rotation, and it's so beautiful. He just goes, he just kind of coils around so heavy. And when I try it, I just lose it. I just lose it. It just goes right out to the back. So just experiment with it. Try and really open it out and get as much as you can towards a full rotation. Just play with it. I basically feel the body goes, no, don't do it. Pull out of it. So I don't really trust I can do it. So basically, my body pulls out before I complete the full rotation. But just interesting to try. Oh no. I can get about 340 degrees, and then my body says no. That's it. That's it. Yeah, good. Good. And you might hear sometimes that in Japan they talk about these spinning tops. So they describe Aikido like it should be like a spinning top. I always think this is kind of a bit silly description because you've got a really pointy thing at the base and you've got a big heavy thing at the top. So basically, that for me that translates as a feeling like the top of the body is really heavy. But I always describe Aikido as like more like a water drop. So the heaviness is below. So it's hard to kind of get that feeling when you're making a rotation, but imagine you're really heavy below. The big problem we have as we make these rotations is the body spins out to the top. And that spinning top quality is actually something I want to avoid. So for me, it's not really a great analogy, but just I'd rather think of the weight of the body below. Just think about the weight below the body. That's it. That's it. I want the weight of the body always to be entering the ground. The moment I feel it's kind of spinning out, that's when I want to a little bit go slow. That's it, Caroline, good. And actually, in a way, I'm really bad at this. So you've got to kind of enjoy your own disbalance. No, you're basically off balance all the time. So you basically just enjoy it, and you try and align towards more balance than not. But it's actually quite enjoyable. So in a way, I can get kind of frustrated with myself. I can't balance. Oh, but I just slightly enjoy it because, unfortunately, I've only got 2 legs, but it also has its advantages later. But for now, just have the sense of enjoying it. So, yeah, good. Yeah, most of you are coming out now and kind of playing with the ski, so continue that. Kind of move into a rotation, find this thrust, and also bring in this one where you're going to rotate out and also include a thrust to the back. And this is really about, for me, is this balancing the direction so that I should feel that as I make a rotation, I should be in a position where I can come to the front, or I should be in a position where I can roll to the back. So just play a little bit with now including thrust to the movement. So you've got this. Just find a rotation. Feel it. I'm really loaded to the back, so I want to really have the sense that I can just move forwards or backwards. Shouldn't feel locked. That's it. Just play a little bit. Yeah, that's it. Nice. Nice. Good. Okay, so we'll just go into a kind of basic pattern, just using Gedan Gaeshi. So you're going to come to the throats, roll to the back, and then coil the body in. Find a strike low. And in this case, just work both sides. So coming back into the Kamai. Throws forward, roll back, and then really feel that you coil through the hip this way, and then draw it back this way. And just play a little bit with the Gedan Gaeshi, just on both sides. That's it. Yeah. Roll back. That's it. Nice, nice, nice. Nice. For me, the Gedan Gaeshi is a really good movement to really train this connection with the hips, a kind of flexibility with the hands to the hip. So just, these are kind of really basic, but if you think about it, if I lock the arm with the hip, when I rotate it, I basically do this. So the body moves like a block. And if I have no connection with it, the arm's kind of in these kind of positions, which is where we do these kind of setai exercises, but it's not functional in a way. So I'm either between this or I'm in this. But I actually want something that's in the middle where I've got structure through the system, but it's fluid and flexible. So try and generate this kind of quality where you've got connection structure, but it's flexible this way. So I can either do this, I can do like this, or I can do something that's really got a sense of structure but connection at the same time. So just play a little bit from this position. What that translates as in the Gedan Gaeshi is if I lock the hips to the hands, I go, everything kind of moves with it. If it's too loose, everything's kind of, it's got a kind of loose quality to it. But if I have that kind of soft, flexible quality, the structure's stable, but the movement has a quality of a kind of wave through the movement. So just play a little bit. And it's useful in this case to really feel that, make the distinction between a blocking structure, a blocked structure, a really kind of spaghetti noodly, wet, and a sense of really kind of flexible, this kind of quality. So just kind of play in and out of these, the kind of levels of connection. And we tend to be more likely to be towards one of the two. Either I'm really heavily rigid in the body, or I'm very loose. And most of us tend to be more towards one than the other. And when it comes to saburi work, we almost all of us go to rigidity, because it's almost how we see the form, and we see the teachers being quite rigid. So we tend to go towards more rigidity, which is something I try and avoid, but it's almost inevitable. Yeah, that's it. Very nice. That's it. Wow. Nice. 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 Okay. And just look at the position in the hands in this case. So just explore, again, it really depends on the person, and you're all kind of totally unique. So in this case, depending on your body, that's the structure, and also what's really important in this case is the length of your arms. So if you see someone with a really long arms, they will do this one slightly differently. But in this case, just watch in terms of the position of the jaw. The hand basically is close to the back hip, coiled forward, and this hand is higher. It's in this kind of position. My feeling of this arm is to kind of coil it this way. What I want to avoid in this case is having the jaw in a kind of low position. So being in this kind of position. What this basically does is it catches my center out. So in this form, I want the feeling that I'm coiling into a spiral this way. If I really exaggerate it, it's kind of coiling here to the form this way. The top hand is higher and the back hand is at the hip. Just kind of close to the hip. And then from here, feel that they've kind of wind up the spring, and then really release it out this way. So just play a little bit, and it's worth experimenting. Play with the hands being low. I feel like I just cannot, no matter what I do, I can't find the spiral in the movement. It's just caught out. I can do the move, but it has no quality of a spiral. So just play a little bit with it. Also the same if the backhand's off the hip. It's somewhere, but I can't find it. It means I need to do a different movement, but for me, for the Gedan Gaeshi, it's about this quality of coiling in the hip and then releasing it. That's it. Just play a little bit with the arms. And in this case, kind of with connection works, kind of millimeters really matter. So depending on where I place the hands, the arms, really has a big effect on the rest of the movement. That's nice. Okay, and we'll stick with it a little bit. Just play now, just look at the focus. So when you come to this movement, all the movements we have, if you think about the weapon work we do, they all have this kind of signature snap. So all the bokken work, all the movements we do to the back, everything has this kind of snap at the end of the move. Now, Gedan Gaeshi for me is one of the hardest to kind of locate. So what we tend to do is, in this case, push with the backhand and push out. So if I do that, I basically force the jaw forward with the hand. And it's almost impossible to kind of find a snap because one arm's really dominating the movement. So in this case, just really, it's a little bit like what we do with the bokken work, just release through the spiral, release through the arc of the jaw. And then I just want to feel that I'm placing the jaw putting the jaw in place. And then I want to basically catch that arc and then snap into the hands. And it basically means that moment of impact, or the moment of the snap, both hands are doing this with the center. So they're both kind of they're both focusing in with the center. So just play a little bit with it, and it mainly comes down to whether I dominate with the left arm or the back arm, or whether I just catch the arc and find the focus. Just play a little bit with it. Just break the form down. Okay.
Michael,
Yeah.
what is the purpose of the focus?
Good question. What do you think? I'm going to throw it back. What do you think?
I think it's about learning the ability to move from a solid state, from a fluid state into a solid state and back again.
In a way, but mostly no. So, in essence, what it's about is in a sense, what it's about is focusing through the center to the hands. So the snap is this, what the problem with the snap is most people look for the snap and they try and make it. So I try and make the weapon snap. So it's about looking for it in the hands, but what it actually is the sense of the center combining with the hands. So as I'm finding the snap, and basically what I'm doing with the center is this, this. So when I do with the grip, it's like the center and the hands basically combine together. So it's about a whole body movement. And I think the Japanese call this it's like ishin. Well, this is like coming to one point. So the whole focus, the whole movement has a real focus. What we tend to do is look for it in the hands. Or I make it in the hands like this. But I really want the sense that all the focus comes together and then the snap happens with the hands this way. So it's a little bit about really focusing on one point. So one point of concentration. That's a little bit.
Thank you.
And the snap is a byproduct of that. The center working with the two hands together. Yeah. Yeah, and the other point about it is that it's about you're almost right in what you said about being flexible and fluid. It's about the strike is a release rather than a kind of, if I look for it in a way that my strike is a or my strike is a this, then I'm basically hitting the thing. But my feeling with this is like archery, so it's like I draw it up and then the strike is actually a release through the body. So the strike has a quality of releasing, which is basically where the body's centered, grounded, and the feeling is like boom, out. And that's really clear in the Bokken word. Boom, and boom, out to the side. So it's got that quality now with the sense of the strike's not a kind of holding, it's a kind of releasing a, that's another point to it. A little bit more and then we'll change it. Ah, good. And it's quite a tricky move to find this kind of snap. The body's in quite a complex position. Yeah, good. That's nice. Nice.
Would you say that when you're grounding, that's exactly the same time as where you put the focus down?
Yeah.
So you're constantly grounded, but in the rotation you're less grounded.
Yeah.
Freeze or you release the moment, and that's where you need to find the connection to the ground, and then release also through the hands.
Exactly. This is why this is quite a complex movement, because the body's got this kind of spinning. It's basically rotating out now. When I do the Bokken, it's super clear because everything's kind of just coming to the ground. So it's automatic kind of landing in the feet. Now, you said totally right. It's like the whole body focuses down, and that includes the feet. So it's the feet are also kind of really grounding into the ground. So this kind of quality, as I increase the snap or increase the focus in the hands, my feelings also boom, like penetrating the ground. So it's got this quality of this. It's really into the ground. So yeah, it's like the whole body does. The lower body drops down, and the upper body does a kind of focusing. Yeah. And it's basically at the end of the day about these kind of 6 directions. So as long as they're in place, this kind of snap should happen. So you've got the up, down, left, right, front, back. That's nice. nice. Super. Nice. Yeah. Good. Huh. Okay, we'll stay with it because we've got a short of time. Just go now basically to here, come to this position. Now what you want to do is create a sense of fluidity. So you're going to roll back and then find it this way. So now you're looking at a little bit more flexible movement. So you've got the thrust here, and then as you draw back, roll the body into this position. This is kind of really strange movement, but it's got this quality. You come in, roll back, and roll the hip in this way. So just focus now on a little bit of flexibility. So here, there, and take it really, really slow. So again, it's not to do with speed, it's about shifting the quality of the movement. You're just trying to find a sense of a really flexible wave through the body. So, yeah. Yeah. Okay, good. And why I like to go, sometimes we save the kind of flexible stuff till you're kind of in third dan, fourth dan, and for me it's a total waste of time because you've really ingrained a solid basic pattern in the person, and then you expect them to kind of break it. So for me, it's better to actually really explore this earlier, so that you get a kind of really a sense of the movement. So in this case, just to kind of break it down a little bit, just why I like to do them is they also reveal my basics. So I use them as a feedback on the basic, and then I come back to the basics and feed it back up through the system. So just watch in this case, if my basic pattern is to have the feeling of drawing back and then coming forward, this will basically translate, if I try and make this fluid, it basically translates to this. So the body gets kind of pulled backwards and forwards. So what this kind of, the flexible training also teaches me in this sense is really this sense of grounding through a spiral. So I don't really have the feeling of coming back with the body, but I have a feeling of drawing the body back. And at the same time, you see my attention kind of comes forward. But in a sense, I'm doing this and then this. It will kind of block the flexible pattern. So just play a little bit with this. I'm basically going to take the footwork out of it. So just have the feeling you ground through the front foot and draw up into a spiral this way. So feel free to move the back hip, move the back foot, but keep a sense of spiraling into the front foot or grounding into the front foot this way. Just play with this and feel the difference between that and this, which seems totally obvious, but we tend to do it this way in the movement. So really just think, this foot doesn't move, and then just draw back into the hip. Now it's got this real quality of me spiraling out. So they're just going to the back like that. My attention's out to the front. And just try this on both sides. So just that movement, just so you can really get a kind of taste of that kind of quality. That's kind of. And again, it's one of those things that it looks almost the same, but the feeling's totally different. Yes. That's it. That's it. Good. That's it. That's it, John. Good. That's it. Good. Good. Okay, so we'll just play a little bit with this move. So this is a really a variation on this move. So it's based on the same principles, but in essence, what you're doing is striking a different target. So the Gedan Gaeshi basic is really kind of striking down for the knee. And in this case, what you're going to do is the feeling is the strike is coming up through the body. And what I'm doing in this case is either striking towards the elbow or striking towards the hand. So it's got now, rather than a sense of coiling an arc this way, the arc's going to kind of pass out through. And this is a different kind of movement from drawing up and thrusting this way. This really still has a quality of an arcing strike. And I'm basically doing this motion with the body. This is happening. So the same principle is being applied as the Gedan Gaeshi did. I'm just applying it on a different kind of vector, on a different line. So it's coming here, comes in, and then the strike is rising, boom. So rather than a kind of sinking strike, this is a rising, boom, this way. So just play a little bit with this, and you could do it from a thrust, both sides. You draw the body back into a spiral, and then that. The strike's coming up this way. Just give it a try. And that's it. Good. Yeah. Yeah, and we also tend to save all these variation movements for when you get later higher into the ranks, but they're actually also, again, these variations are really interesting because they reveal my basic patterns. So in a sense, what I see now a little bit is that the Joe's kind of coming first and then the body gets dragged by it. So in a sense, the Joe and then the body this way. Now, sometimes that movement's kind of happening when we do these kind of moves, but I'm always going to generate the movement with the body. So just slow this movement down a little bit and really feel that what you're doing now is arcing underneath and the Joe's coming up this way. So really trying to create this feeling of an arc through the body. And in this case, a little bit more down, just doing this and then a snap. But the body's basically rounding down through the strike. What I want to avoid in this case is bah. The body gets pulled out. Just the last few. Focus on this kind of arc through the body. There. And it's a kind of snap up. That's it. Good. Nice.
Basically, Michael, what you're saying is that we need to speed up our lower body and just let the upper body follow instead of let the upper body lead in this movement.
Exactly, yeah. So I think it's this kind of difference between being dragged, the body being dragged by the Joe, or the Joe being dragged by the body. Now, even if the Joe's in front of me, I still have the quality. I still have the quality that the Joe's following the body rather than the body being dragged by the Joe. So this is sometimes where it gets a bit confusing, but it's like being controlled by a dog on a leash. The dog's pulling me out, or I'm actually in control of the dog. Now the dog, in this case, you want the dog to listen to you. You don't want the dog to pull you out all the time. So you want the Joe to be the dog, and you want to be in control of the dog, Joe/Joe. Right. That's it. Good, and last few minutes, just really kind of open out everything we've done. So you've got these kind of thrusting movements, these rotation movements, also these big rotation movements, also thrusts to the rear, just to kind of feel that I'm kind of filling out the space. And the last things are these, Gaeshi move, and also this variation where you've got a kind of variation snapping move. So just kind of mix them all in. So just move freely through skis, rotations. Just play a little bit. Again, all the focus on these kind of basics. Grounding the body, nice and calm, flexible, heavy, relaxed. Wow. tiny, almost. Oh, very nice. Nice. Catherine, nice. Good. So, spin, good. Nice. Good. So. See. And the last 30 seconds or so, just focus on more on this quality of flexibility now. So start to basically chain the movements together. And always best done really slow, so don't kind of rush into it. And don't really put so much emphasis on the power of the strike. Much more focused on the body, centering the movement, and looking for a kind of flexible movement through the feet. Just play a little bit with it. My ability to go fast is really grounded in my ability to maintain the ground and maintain the center. And this morning, I think I'm going to go very slow. Slow. Nice. Great. Nice, very nice. So, very good. So, super. We'll stop that. Very nice. So, はい、どうもありがとうございました。
どうもありがとうございました。